In my lesson, students were completing a page of their interactive notebooks. These interactive notebooks are for reading and go over concepts that we learn. On this particular day, we were completing a page for making predictions. We had been reviewing predictions all week, and so we were adding to our interactive notebook. This overall activity wasn't very demanding of students. It was something that was review and that students could keep for later. I know I could have throughout the lesson asked more higher order thinking questions or more questions in general to engage the students. However, time was an issue. As you saw, I didn't get through the lesson. I had planned for 15 minutes of plan time, and the lesson was about 10 minutes, and that's because our day had got pushed back a little bit. So after recess, students had about 5 minutes, and we did complete the interactive notebook. As far as the overall lesson, I feel like it was successful. Students were able to complete this lesson successfully. They were able to complete the activity, I think, because I did provide good modeling, and this was effective at classroom management. So because students knew exactly what to do. Instead of asking questions and being confused, students could look directly at me and see the exact steps that I was doing to complete this notebook. I also really worked on proximity while teaching this lesson because I wanted to make sure that students were on task. I wanted to make sure that the students were completing the lesson accurately. So I made sure to go around and help students as needed. Throughout the lesson, there were some things that did pop up that contribute to classroom management. In one instance, a student got up out of his seat and started laughing, and I did shush him. This probably wasn't really effective for me to do. It wasn't effective for me to shush him, although it did work because he did sit down and was quiet. But I could have maybe used proximity to go closer to him to tell him, hey, you need to sit down and stay on task. I noticed that while I was doing my lesson, our para actually went around and was picking up trash that the students had left on their desk. And this was really helpful for classroom management. I didn't know that she had went around picking up the trash, but I can see how it's really helpful because students could have gotten up out of their desk and been disruptive instead. So that really helped to prevent these kind of behaviors. So in the future, maybe I can go around picking up trash, or I can have students get up out of their desk and one at a time to go dump their trash. Another thing that had happened during my lesson was that a student had spilt glue all over his paper. And you hear him say that in the video that he spilt glue. And I did say to him jokingly, "Why did you spill your glue everywhere?" I said this because the student is a little ornery and he does, do things for attention. He more than likely spilt the glue to be funny or, to get the attention. So I really didn't give him, or give him the negative attention that maybe he wanted. Instead, I told him, oh, just push it to the side and you can keep writing. So that was pretty effective, and I think that can be beneficial to keep in mind when dealing with the student in future lessons. Overall, the classroom management was successful because I used proximity and direct modeling. There were a few things that I could have changed, but overall this lesson was successful.